Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to your calendars franchise mode here in NHL 25. So last episode, if you did not catch it, it was an interesting second round against the Philadelphia Flyers. We did manage to beat them, but it was definitely a tough series for our team in the sense that we actually fell down 3-1 early on in the series. At that point, I wasn't really too sure if we were going to be able to come back, but you can see what happened here. 1-0 loss, 4-1 win, then we lost 7-4 and 4-3. So at that point, not a lot of good convincing stats from our team, and I was kind of concerned. But then we won it overtime on a game that we jumped in on. Bigger scored a huge goal. At that point, I was thinking maybe there's a chance we could come back and win a Game 7, because I have seen games where our series where basically you go down 3-1, and then if you win in overtime, then it seems to spark the team. And that's exactly what it did for our team, as we end up winning 6-3 and 5-2 in the subsequent games. So our offense has gotten hot at the right time. We've still been getting some pretty good goaltending for the most part the last few games as well. So everything is starting to trend in the right direction. Hopefully we can find a way to beat this Habs team, because the Habs team that we're facing in this conference finals is actually kind of a tough team. They did finish below us in the standings. However, they do have a pretty damn good defensive core. And as you can see also below where the goaltending is listed, you can see Somers is rocking a 952 for them through 10 games. So they are a very good defensive team this postseason. They also do have offensive threats in them as well, because you can see that they're scoring 3.4 goals for per game. So in terms of basically the stats during the playoffs, we're both pretty similar teams. We're both good offensively and defensively. They have a really good penalty kill. Meanwhile, we have kind of an average penalty kill, but we have a very good power play. So I think the difference in this series is if our power play could convert on their penalty kill, because their penalty kill has been their bread and butter. The power play has been good for us, so it depends on which one of those strengths goes to waste in this conference finals. But let me show you guys what their lineup looks like again, just in case you forgot, and then we'll get into the comments after that. But yeah, it's definitely a tougher looking team based on what their defensive core looks like. Like their offensive core, I'd say it's pretty solid. Like, they don't really have the craziest offensive core in the world. Like, there's only one superstar level player in Eli Anthony. However, they do have a bunch of supporting cast, which is pretty decent, like 85s, some 83s. Like, they don't have like a super crazy weakness on this roster, despite not having a lot of high-end talent. But then you go to their defensive core, and this is where it is probably the toughest part about them. Their top four is probably one of the best top fours in the entire league, I would assume, as they have McArdle and Reinbacher, Enqvist, and Lane Hudson still playing at 35. So very good top four defensive pairings. Their top six isn't really that bad either, because technically these guys are depth defensemen, but definitely the top four is what we need to watch out for the most. And then in terms of goaltending, they do have that 88 overall goaltender in Somers, who obviously has been simulating really well at this point in time. So I think it's going to be a tough task for our team, but I think our team could do it because of the fact we do have a better offensive core. In terms of our defensive core, I don't think our defensive core is better, just because we did also suffer an injury in last episode to Novoseltsev, so I don't know if that's going to play a factor here early in this conference finals or not. He won't be back for like at least a week or so, which is very unfortunate. And then from goaltending perspective, I think it's a pretty even matchup, even though technically Somers has been outperforming Solovyov. Both of them are high-end goaltenders. So I think it really just comes down to if we could score goals and if they could defend or not. So anyways, let's get in your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then we will get probably into readjusting the lines again, because I don't think I adjusted them after Novoseltsev's injury. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll get into this conference finals. So the first comment is from Michael Dose, who says, "Shame on me. I wrote off the Cardiac Islanders after going down 3-1. And I didn't necessarily write them off either, but I did think that we were probably going to find a way to lose that series. Now, since we won that game in overtime, I kind of felt like maybe we could have started to come back, but obviously you have to take it kind of one at a game at a time, so to speak. So the fact that we were able to win the next game 6-3, I kind of felt a little bit safer going into a Game 7 scenario. And the last NFL comment is from Lyndon Adams 19, who says, "This Montreal team looks scary, gonna give you a run for your money." And yeah, I think this Montreal team could definitely give us a run for our money. I could definitely see the series going to 7 games, but I think it also really depends on if Montreal could keep up their defensive style that they've been doing so far this postseason, and if we could keep up our offensive style. I don't know actually how we did against them during the regular season. Let's take a look at that just quickly as well before we get into adjusting our lines, because I'm kind of curious on who was the better of the two teams in our matchups. So Montreal, our first game against them, we won 4-1. The same week, we ended up losing 4-1 against them, and then we lost 4-3 here. So it seems like 4 is the magic number, based on that goal scoring at least. We should have maybe had one more meeting against them, or is that the only 3 meetings we had against them this season? That might be the only 3 meetings we had against them this season, okay? So we are 1-2 against them during the season, so not ideal, but at least regular season doesn't really matter once you get to the postseason. So it's just all about if that Novoselicev injury is going to hurt us a lot or not. I don't think it will hurt us a ton because we do have a very good offensive core, but from a defensive standpoint, it's going to hurt us a little bit. So we're going to move Tatar back to the top pairing. Holmstrom will get a chance in the top 4 because of that. I didn't really like him when he was playing with Schaefer before, but that's probably the best thing we could do because Rudder isn't an enforcer, so it doesn't really make much sense to have him outside of a top 6 defensive role. And our goaltending obviously will stay the same. From an offensive standpoint, I was running some crazy lines in last episode. I think I'll probably keep it the same for the start of this conference finals, but probably by the end of the series, I'll have readjusted it back to the way it was before, just because we kind of went a little ham with our center depth to try and help out our team, and it did help out our team, but I don't really want to run guys like Leahy on the 4th line, Bjorkstrand as a 3rd line guy. Like, they should be back on the wing, so we probably will readjust our lines if we do lose game 1, for instance, so there definitely could be back to the way the lines were for like the first round of the playoffs, or it could be back to what it was during the regular season. We do have a lot of different line combinations we could come up with, so I think we're ready to get into this conference finals and see if we're going to be able to beat this Habs team or not. Like I said, it depends if we can find our offense or not. If Montreal plays like they've been playing defensively the last little while, they're 8-2 in the playoffs. They've been allowing barely any goals, so if we could score over 2 goals per game, that would be nice, but obviously we can't give up more than 2 either in that sense. So let's see what happens here. Game number 1, we do have the home ice advantage. Can we use it to our advantage? Winner of this series will face either Seattle or Edmonton for the Stanley Cup. First period. 2-1 us. Okay, that's actually a good start because, like I said, they've been averaging 1.7 goals against per game. Well, Crane scores the first 2 goals of this conference finals. Crane has been very good for us in this postseason. He's on like 24 points now, and he has been scoring a lot more goals as of late too. So good stuff from Crane, and then Fraze gets them on the board. Shots are 13-6 in favor of us, so not an ideal first period for Solovyov. 1 goal on 6 shots, but maybe he's just getting a little bit warmed up here. So let's keep this lead intact in a second. Let's get some insurance and make the rest of this game easy on us. Second period. Still 2-1. Okay, good defensive period. We don't score any goals, but that's a good period for Solovyov. That's what I meant. More just him settling into the game, and he just settles in nicely in that second period. Shots are 21-18. It's only a 2-1 game for us, so we got to be careful here in this third period. Find a way to get an insurance marker and take this first home game. Come on, boys. Let's get her done. And they immediately tie it up to start the third. That's not ideal. Do we have a response to that is the answer. Because right now they do not give up a lot of goals. So getting that third goal is going to be a tough task for our team. Come on, boys. I believe in you. We have the goal scoring ability. Just got to find a way to get goal number 3. And Anthony makes it 3-2 Habs. As they are playing that strong defensive style, they get the empty net. We were up 2-1 for a good chunk of the game. And it's unfortunate because then they found their defensive game a bit. As we end up losing 4-2 in that one. That's the type of game Montreal wins. Those games where they do not give up anything, they get back into the game and they take game 1 on our home ice. So that's a tough way to lose our first game, considering we scored the first 2 goals. Crane from Howden and Mackinnon, Crane from Tatar and Mackinnon. But then, literally, they hung around the entire game. They end up scoring early, and then they get the lead late. Man. I don't know if I should make some adjustments already. I think I'm going to, just because I do not trust the way our lineup is set up right now to get it done. We had 2 of the 3 stars in that game, but we could not win this one just because of the defensive play of them. Not a terrible game from Solovyov, but obviously I was hoping for a little bit better. But once again, their goaltending has just been outrageous. A .926 save percentage from Somers, as they kind of have that defensive style lockdown, which is not ideal. We're going to definitely need to steal one of their home games, which is going to be even tougher considering it's in Montreal, which is arguably the toughest building to play in. So, yeah, let's go make some adjustments already. I know it was only a game 1 loss, but I do not like the fact that Montreal is still playing good defensively. So we are going to load our lines to a different setup here. We're going to go with Ragnarsson, Crane, Mäkinen. We're going to actually move Bjorkstrand back actually to the top line. Never mind. Bjorkstrand needs to get going a bit, so I'm going to go back to the original line setup that we had before, which means I think who was playing center on this line? Oh, it was Leahy, right? Yeah. So we'll go with Leahy there. Biggers goes back down to fourth line role. We're going to go back to our original lines and see if that helps out things. Aside from Anton Frundell being on that second line, I guess. From a defensive standpoint, I still don't really like the second pairing of Holmstrom and Schaefer because Holmstrom's usually mines all the time. But there's not really much else I could do. I mean, I could put Albrecht into the top four, but is that a good chemistry? Not really, no. Yeah, there's not really much that I can do because I don't want to put two offensive defensemen together. I just think that's a liability. So I think the rest of this is what we're going to have to run with. Novoseltsev is almost back already, which is good news. I think he's still back in like a week or so, though. But he is playable, but I'm not going to put him back in yet. Obviously, we want to get him fully healthy if possible first before we play him, because obviously if we put him in injured and he gets re-injured again, we might end up losing him for the Cup Finals. So I don't want to risk him getting re-injured by putting him in already. But let's see if we can get a good response in Game 2. Obviously, that's a tough way to start off a conference finals. We did play solid in that first period, played solid in the second period, but the third period, we end up giving up that late goal, obviously, and the tying goal, and that is the difference, basically, in the game. All right. Well, can we take a home game at least? Because if we lose both of our home games, we need to find a way to win 2 games in Montreal, and that's even tougher than winning 1 game in Montreal, so let's see what happens on home ice in this next game, see if we could respond here. But we didn't come back from 3-1 to lose in 4 games, boys. So let's see if we could have a good response here. First period, Game 2. 2-1 Montreal, not great at all. Obviously, that's kind of what was like last game for us, on the other hand. So maybe we could still crawl back into this game. Roberk opens the scoring on the power play. Houghton ties it up for us. And 5 seconds left in the period, Reinbacher scores. Shots are 19-7 in favor of the Habs, so Solovyov is keeping us in this game completely after the first. The question is Montreal going to run away with the goal scoring eventually, or are we going to be able to find a way to tie this one up here in the second period? Come on, boys, get this done, please. Second period. There we go, we tied a game up. That's a great second period, good defensively. Short-handed goal from Bjorkstrand, who is starting to come alive a little bit the last little few games. Still hasn't been scoring like a crazy ton, but he definitely has been better since, I think it was late in the series against Philadelphia where he's finally started to score some goals. So shots are 27-22 in favor, or 21 in favor of the Habs. It's a 2-2 game after 2. A lot of 2s involved. Can we find a way to get our first lead of the night? Come on, guys. Let's have a good third period here. Let's not have a third period like last game. Let's get our first lead of the night if possible. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. Let's get that next one. Penalty kill to start off the third. We killed it off. Nicely done. Can we get some goal scoring on our side? Come on, boys. Come on. I believe in Ukraine, Bjorkstrand, all those dudes. Frundell even. I don't even know who wants to score a goal on our side. And the answer is going to be nobody in the third period. We are going to overtime in Game 2, which is not ideal, as Montreal is still keeping us to 2 goals right now. We have not been able to score more than 2 goals to start off the series. Shots are pretty even, 36-34, so it's anybody's game going into overtime. The question is which goaltender buckles first, and who's going to be the one that scored a game winner. If I'm going to count on anybody on our team to score a game winner, I feel like Leahy could score a game winner here. He hasn't been scoring a ton in his postseason, but I feel like if it's going to be somebody, it could be somebody random on our team. So let's just shout out Leahy, and let's see if we can find a way to tie the series up here. Come on, boys. Just get that third goal. Play good defensively. Play disciplined in overtime as well, because if we take too many penalties, that's when we could get into a problematic state. So let's see what happens. Overtime underway. Let's get that the next goal, please. Oh my goodness. Oh, god damn it. I felt like it was going so slow that I knew there was going to be a team to score in overtime. And Fraze has given Montreal a 2-0 series lead as we did not score more than 2 goals. We had 38 shots on goal, but their goaltending, their defensive play is still evident here in this conference finals. And like I said, if our offense was good in this series, I feel like we have a chance to win. But since they have that good goaltending, that good defensive play, it is very tough for us to even get anything going. So Houghton from Koroliuk and Jarvis, and then we had Bjorkstrand from Ragnarsson. But that game-winning goal for A's ends up winning it, as they took both of our home games, which means we need to take both of their home games. So it could be the home ice trend right now still, but at the same time, it could be also us getting swept potentially. So that's kind of scary. Definitely not going to put that game on Solovyov. He has had still a pretty good playoffs, but our offense definitely needs to find a way to score more goals than 2 goals a game. I'm not going to fully blame our offense because Montreal's a good defensive team, but at the same time, Montreal's just living up to that strength. They're 10-2 this postseason. They are absolutely cruising. Definitely, if they beat us, I think they're the Stanley Cup favorite here. I don't know how good Edmonton and Seattle are, but they have definitely been a very, very strong team. Montreal. They're literally only allowing 1.75 goals against per game. Now, I guess technically we have been outscoring a lot of other teams that have played against them, but still, it's actually kind of insane. Do we want to make any other adjustments before we head to Montreal for Game 3? Let's go with Crane on the right side. Bjorkstrand's going to go back down to the second line again. Frundell's going to go top line. We're going to go with Bjorkstrand down the middle. Giordano's going to go to the right wing. Sealfito's going to go to the left wing. Actually, let's go with Ragnarsson as the left winger. Sealfito is going to run this third line a little bit more. And then from a defensive standpoint, I don't think there's much I could do here. Holmstrom still has been pretty lackluster this postseason despite being an offensive defenseman. Like, he's only got the 1 assist and he's -8, which is not ideal. Why is Rudder dropping off? Because of ice time? Why? How much ice time are you getting in the game? 15 minutes. That's a lot more than you should be getting. Oh boy. I don't really want to give Rudder like penalty kill time, but he's already on the first line penalty kill. Like, I don't know why he's complaining. That's kind of unfortunate. Is this what we want to run with for this next game? I think so. Because Bjorkstrand's better at faceoffs, I think, than Giordano, correct? Yeah. So maybe by going back to that type of scenario for the second line, Ragnarsson getting a chance in the top 6, maybe it's not a bad idea. It's not that Sealfito's been bad by any stretch, but we got to try out some random things like that. How has Koroliuk been defensively? 2 points only. Jarvis has been pretty solid, 5 points. Biggers obviously had that game-winning goal in the Flyers series. I could throw Ellington back into the lineup. He hasn't played in quite a while since during the regular season. Malden's never played a game, I don't think, here. Actually, no, he has. He's played 39 games this season. 9 points. Do I want to give a chance to Malden? He is a two-way forward. And meanwhile, Koroliuk, I think, is an offensive guy, right? Yeah, he's a sniper. You know, I'm going to scratch Koroliuk for this next game. It's not that he's been a liability by any stretch, but I think having a two-way forward on the fourth line speaks a little bit better defensively than a sniper. So I'm going to throw Malden into the lineup, and we'll see how good he could do for us defensively on that fourth line. And I think that's the only adjustments that we're going to make. Yeah, because I don't really want to make any other adjustments unless I go Tatar and Holmstrom on that second pairing. That actually could work. So yeah, let's go with Holmstrom on the left side, and then we're going to move Schaefer to the top pairing with Houghton. And Houghton, since he's an offensive defenseman, we're going to put him on his offside as well. And that will give a chance to Holmstrom to play with a better defenseman, maybe have a better chance to jump up in the rush a bit. And goaltending is going to stay the same, of course. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to run with for this next 2 games, at least. We got to find a way to win these games in Montreal. It's going to be very tough, but it is possible to do it. Just got to find a way to take it one game at a time. All right, let's get to game number 3 on the road in Montreal. See if we can find a way to win on the road. I think we've been a good road team this postseason so far, if I remember right. So there's a chance we could definitely take both these games, but we cannot give them any goals, basically. And we got to find a way to score more than 2 goals, which is going to be tough, especially against their goaltenders. So let's see what happens. Game number 3 in Montreal. Can we get back into the series at any capacity, or are we going to fall down 3-0, which would not be good? Come on, boys. You got this. First period, game 3. 3-0 us. That's a very, very good start. Obviously, we got to keep this momentum for the rest of this game and also into next game, but that's an ideal first period. Like I said, if we find our offensive game, we'll have a good chance to win games, and that's definitely a tough first period for their goaltender. Probably the toughest first period he's had all postseason. Houghton opens the scoring, Giordano scores, and Bjorkstrand scores, so maybe having Bjorkstrand back down the middle is a good idea, especially with Giordano being the sniper on the wing, so that's a very good first period. We just got to obviously be careful in the second period and beyond that. Shots are 11-6 in favor of us. Can we get any more insurance in the second period or just play good defensively? Second period? Still 3-0. Good defensive period. Let's go. All right, this is the type of game that we could steal, and then hopefully we play good again next game as well. Because if we keep our take our foot off the gas after this game, then obviously we still fall down 3-1. But if we put our foot on the gas and don't let off, we're gonna be able to tie in the series back up, which is nice. So let's see what happens in this third period. See if we could lock this game down and give Montreal a taste of their own medicine. Let's see, third period underway. It's been a good game so far. Obviously, all goals coming in the first period, but still, that's good. And Crane makes it 4-0. Let's go. This is probably the worst defensive game Montreal's had in quite a while, so this is definitely a good game to see. Final few minutes, still up by 4 goals. And your New York Islanders are going to take a game in Montreal on the road and shut them out 4-0, outshooting them 37-29. That's a good response. Very good response. So a lot of our top guys went to work in that game. I'm pretty sure it was mostly our top 6 that scored goals in that game, but that's exactly kind of what we need. So goals, Houghton from Frundell and Crane. We had Giordano from Houghton, Bjorkstrand from Tatar and Ragnarsson, and Crane from Houghton. Nicely done. Stats in that game, 3 points from Houghton, 2 points from Crane, a couple guys on 1 point, but yeah, it was all top guys that were basically producing, which is good to see. Also, Giordano had a point too. And then a 29 save shutout from Solovyov. Great to see that, of course. And hopefully we can find a way to win that next game as well. Because if we win that next game, it's going to be maybe the home ice trend potentially. So Solovyov gets first star, Houghton in the second star, Crane the third star. And just like that, we're back into the series. So the first 2 games weren't ideal, but we only lost them by a couple goals, basically 1 goal to 2 goals. So I do feel like our team definitely still has been pretty good, but obviously there has been some adjustments we've had to make, but maybe the adjustments we made after game 2 will help us win these 2 games in Montreal. That's only the 3rd loss Montreal has had all postseason, so it's been a while since they've lost, but we do hand them an L, which is nice. Can we hand them 2 losses? I don't know what I'm trying to say, basically. But can we hand them 2 losses, which would double up how much they had going into the series alone? If we could win this next game, I do feel good about our chances. If we don't, obviously, it's going to be what we had to do against the Flyers. Because what we did against the Flyers was coming back from 3-1, and we don't want to have to do that again because that's not very easy to come back when you're trailing that many times. So if we could find a way to win this game, I feel confident that we could find a way to win this series. All right, let's get into Game 4 in Montreal and see if we could ride some momentum from last game and build off that and tie the series up at 2. Like I said, if we win this game, I do feel confident about our team. So let's see if we could get that confidence gained. First period, Game 4. 2-1 Montreal. Not ideal. It's back to kind of Game 2-ish. Because Game 2, we are down 2-1 after 1. Fraze opens the scoring. Nielakainen answers back for us. So both teams with power play goals in the first period. Then Holmes gave them to lead. Not a good start really from Solovyov. 2 goals against on 7 shots. But we do have 1 goal on 8 shots. So we are scoring pretty good as well here as of late. But we need to have a good second period here. We need to find that defensive game that we had last game. Because if Montreal is able to run up the score sheet, scoring more than 2 goals is going to be tough. So let's have a good second period here, play some good defensive hockey, and we could get back into this game. Second period. 3-2. Okay, we are still hanging in there. We did tie the game up at 2, but then Konopka restores the lead for the Habs. Shots are 23-19 in favor of us. We're only down by a goal. We still are in this game. If we could get that next goal, it will become probably next goal wins territory. If we obviously give up the next goal, it's going to be very tough to climb up in the third period, down by 2 goals. So we need to score that next one. We've been keeping our in this game the entire time. We could definitely tie it up early. I feel it in my bones. Let's see what happens. Third period. Come on, guys. Get it tied up. Get it tied up again. You've done it before. Just tie it up again. Power play for us. It's a 5-on-3. It's a long power play, very long power play, and we do not score on it. Are you kidding me? A power play again, please. And we don't score on it again. Oh my goodness, those power plays went to waste. Final few minutes here. And we're going to lose 3-2, which means we're down 3-1, just like we were against Philadelphia. And another strong game for their goaltender after we had a good game. That's one where we should have probably found a way to win. We outshot them 46-25, basically because we had such a long-ass power play, but we did not convert on it. And now we find ourselves in a very tough situation, as Montreal's one win away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Goddamn. Ragnarsson got ejected early on in the game, apparently, but who knows what it says in the score sheet. But Neil Kynan from Giordano, Frundell from Crane and Makinen. But if we go to the third period, Montreal had 3 penalties in the span of like the first 10 minutes. Anthony took a tripping penalty, and then they had a double minor to David Reinbacher, but they were able to kill both those off. We didn't get out another power play, but we didn't score on it too, so that is not ideal. They also had 3 power plays in the first period, only scored 1 power play goal in that, so maybe we need to address our special teams if we want to get out of this hole, but this is not ideal. This is another game we should have probably found a way to win. Technically, every game in the series that we've only lost by 1 goal, because game number 1, the empty net goal made it a 2-goal advantage for the Habs. So the Habs are just kind of getting that good defensive style and not allowing us to tie the game up too often. But yeah, Sommer's the big difference in that game completely. A .956 save percentage against us. How much shots were in that third period? 23-6, and we did not tie the game up. Half of our shots in that game came in the third period. Absolutely outrageous. So I'm not going to complain that our team didn't try to tie this game up, but we just ran into a really tough goaltender, and our power play could not find a way to capitalize. Man, that's crazy. Why do we have to be in a 3-1 hole again? Novoselicev is back, which is good news, obviously, but is it too little too late? Or is it going to be one of those things when he gets back into the lineup, he helps us win the series or something like that? Alright, so we're going to have to go back to our original defensive pairings now that Novoselicev is back, which is exciting. Hopefully that's a spark we kind of need going forward. So Rutter's going to come back out of the lineup again, and in comes Novoselicev. When Novoselcev's been in the lineup, we've been a pretty good defensive team because he is a +12 right now in this postseason. So I'm excited to have him back, but I don't know if it's too little too late. And then Solovyov's numbers have been kind of bouncing around a bit this series, but we're still going to trust him. And how did Malden do actually in his first game? -1. Actually, in his first 2 games. He only played 6 minutes a game. Goddamn. We'll take him back out of the lineup, sure. Get Korolyuk back in here. We need that goal scoring support. And we are going to try and rework the top 6 again a bit. So we're going to swap Ragnarsson and Frundell. So it's Frundell, Bjorkstrand, Giordano, Crane, Mackin, and Ragnarsson. Third line will stay the same, but we need something more out of Ronnie Leahy. He's been absolutely dreadful this postseason. So I could scratch him for a game, but I don't think it's worth it. And our defensive core is back to the way it was. All right, well, let's see if Novoselicev could help propel us back into the series, because I have seen teams, though, that had an injury to start off around. Basically, once that player comes back from injury, all of a sudden they do really well. So it is going to be tough for us because we have not won a home game in the series so far. But if we could take one game at a time, do what we did against basically Philadelphia, we could definitely still come back. But it's going to be tougher this round for sure doing it rather than it was against the Flyers. Because the Flyers were a better team than us, but Montreal is just, they got that defensive style pretty much locked down. So if they play good defensively in these games, it's going to be really tough to beat them. Well, this is not ideal. I didn't want to be down 3-1 again, but here we are. Can we find a way to force a Game 6? Let's just take it one game at a time. We're back on home ice. We'll see if Novoselicev could spark the boys a bit, because maybe that's what we need, is just another player that could play good defensively for us. As we give up the first goal of the game, and it was on the first shot, but we do answer back, and it's literally who I just called on in Leahy, who had not been good, but Lindsay restores the lead for the Habs on the power play. Maybe I should have readjusted the special teams because I didn't do that yet, and Konopka makes it 3-1. Solovyov might be out of the net already in his first period, which is not a good thing whatsoever. Can we get at least a goal to make it a 1-goal game? Yes, we can. Bjorkstrand makes it a 3-2 game. We tie it up. Okay. All right, what a crazy first period. I don't like Solovyov's play, obviously, in that first period, but our offense came to play, which is a good thing. Leahy scored. Bjorkstrand, who has been scoring a bit more as of late, scores as well. And Nielakainen has been also a quiet player, so that third line maybe has finally awoken, which could give us a bit of an edge. But obviously 2 goals in 30 seconds in the final minute 30, that's pretty clutch. Shots are pretty even, 13-11. Let's see if we can get our first lead of the night, because so far we've been trailing most of the game. Let's see what happens. Come on, boys, let's get that next one. Let's get that next one. Oh, boy. Penalty kill to start the second period. We killed it. Nicely done. Do we have an answer here in this period? Come on, boys. Oh, man, we're getting into a defensive stalemate in the second period. And it is going to be 3-3 going into the third. Shots are 21-15. I don't like that the goaltender's kind of settled in a bit more in that period. I don't know if Solovyov is still in net or not. At least he settled in, but I don't like that Somers had a good second period against us. Can we find a way to get that lead in this third period? This could be our last period of the season. If we could find a way just to get one more goal and win this game, like I said, there's the next game. So we got to be careful here. We got to be careful. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Get me number 4. Number 4, Bobby Orr, please. Hey, Mäkinen scores. Let's go, Mäkinen. Big goal there from the top line guy. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Our power play has been a little bit inconsistent this postseason. It was good going into this round, but the Habs do have a good penalty kill, actually, it said, so that makes sense. And we are going to lock it down, win 4-3. Is this going to be similar to the Flyers series where we were down 3-1? Because we did win that game to get back into the series 4-3 as well. I think it was with an overtime win. Maybe we'll find a way to win in Game 6 and in Game 7 if it gets there. But Leahy from Tatar, Bjorkstrand from Frendell and Giordano, Nielakainen from Leahy and Sealfido. We had a good defensive second period, and Mäkinen from Crane ends up being the game winner. Let's go. 3 stars, Leahy, Mäkinen, and Lindsay for them. All right, so that's a pretty textbook game. Obviously, it's another 1-goal victory, so there's been a lot of 1-goal games in the series. Like, we could have probably swept them at this point, but they could have also swept us, too. Because, yeah, this game was one that basically there was an empty netter that made it 4-2. This game we lost by 1. We won 4-0. Lost by 1. Won by 1. So there is still a chance that we could crawl back into the series. If we come back from 3-1 against them as well, that would be absolutely insane. So we got to just take it one game at a time. Let's take it one period actually at a time. Start off this next game in Game 6 well, and then anything could happen. So far we've won games in Montreal as well, so there is a chance we can win here. But obviously, we got to take it one game at a time. Seattle's up 3-2 on Edmonton right now. All right. Do we want to keep our lineup the same for this next game, or do we want to make any more adjustments? Let's see. I do feel like our team can come back, but at the same time, we could end up losing in 6 this time. So I want to make sure we get our power play going a bit more. Let's see. I will take Giordano off the first unit and give a chance back to Bjorkstrand. Maybe that's why Bjorkstrand's struggling, because he's not on the first power play. I didn't even think of that. Let's get Bjorkstrand on this unit. Giordano will go to the second unit. We'll just try and change this small little thing about it and see if that helps out anything. So Giordano will go to the second unit, and he'll go to the point. Ragnarsson will go back down inside. All right, so a little bit of power play adjustments just to see if that could get the power play going a bit, because like I said, it's been a bit quiet as of late, and Montreal has a good penalty kill too. Our penalty kill, I think, has been pretty fine, so I don't think there's any adjustments here to make. Let me actually take a look at how good our penalty kill's been simulating. It has been 85.2%. It's not too bad. Montreal's is 95.3, though. I'll keep it the same, I think. I'll keep it the same. Watch, it's going to come back to bite me if I say that, but we need to find a way to win this next game. But let's take it one period at a time. If we find a way to win the first period, maybe we could find a way to win the whole game and get to a Game 7 again. So here we go. Back in Montreal again. Can we find a way to win another road game? Last time we were here, we lost. But the first time we were here, we shut them out 4-0. So anything can happen in this game. Let's go real-time simulation. Let's build off the last game, boys. Let's get our offense going again here. We score on our first shot of the game, Anton Frundell. Okay, Anton. Captain Frundell. Power play for us. We don't score on it there, even with the adjustments. That's unfortunate. Come on, boys. You got this. I believe in this Islanders team. I believe in them. I believe in them. And there's a big goal with 28 seconds left to end the first period from Mäkinen. That's actually a massive goal at that point. Shots are 16-9 in favor of us. It's a 2-0 game after the first. Let's have a good defensive second period like we did last game. And then hopefully the third period we could find a way to lock it down as well. So, second period underway. Come on, guys. You got this. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Penalty kill. Got to kill this off. Please. Please kill it off. Please, please, please. Thank you. And Leahy scores again. Let's go. Leahy starting to come alive. A 3-0 goal. That's a huge one from Ronnie. That's a huge one. Final few minutes of the second period, up by 3 goals. They do break the shutout. Gavin Hayes makes it a 3-1 game. I don't like that they scored late, but I do like that at least we got a goal in that period, because if we didn't get a goal in that period, we'd only be up 2-1, and I'd be a little bit more iffy. But shots are pretty even in this game, 24-19. If we have a strong third period here, we're going back to a Game 7 again after being down 3-1. So we've done this before. We could do it again. Come on, boys. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, you got this. I believe in you. Penalty kill to start off the third. Don't take penalties, please, boys. It's a long penalty kill. We kill it off. Let's go. That makes up for the power play that didn't convert the other game ago. Come on, you got this. You got this. Final few minutes here, this third period. Final 3. Final 2. Your New York Islanders were down 3-1, and now they've forced a Game 7 for the second consecutive series. Final shots 3-1 our final goals 3-1 as well in favor of us at the end of it. Final shots 33-30 in favor of the Habs, but we managed to get it done. We're going to a Game 7 again, where we've been just last round as well. So Frundell from Giordano, Mäkinen from Houghton, and then Leahy from Nielkainen and Sealfido. Whew. Goddamn, what a comeback again. But obviously, it just comes down to Game 7. Hopefully, we consistently have good Game 7s. Obviously, if this Game 7 is completely different and we end up losing in 7, it will kind of suck, obviously, after a good little comeback again. Like, this team won't go away. They definitely just keep on trying, which is awesome to see. So, Solovyov the first star, Mäkinen second star, Hayes the third star. All right. Well, do we want to make any adjustments going into this next game, or do we want to think that the same lineup will basically get it done? Seattle's moving on to the Cup Finals, so Edmonton has been eliminated. So will not be, if we do win this round, it will not be a rematch of a few years back when we did play Edmonton in the Cup Finals, because I'm pretty sure we played Edmonton in the Cup Finals in the series. Do I want to make any adjustments? We've won 2 in a row, which is awesome, but I don't know if I want to make any other adjustments accordingly. Maybe Sealfido being on that third line has helped Leahy out a little bit, because Sealfido's got 14 points. Since Sealfido's been demoted, Leahy has been starting to pick up his performances a bit these last 2 games. So, yeah, maybe we have a new look third line for at least the rest of the season. Trying to think if there's anything I want to adjust. How's Holmstrom's plus minus looking like now? -10. Oh my goodness. I feel like Holmstrom should be scratched, but at the same time, I don't think Rutterwood has been doing much better. Yeah, Rutter was -2 and taking penalties, so I don't mind it, I guess, having Holmstrom still in. Albrecht is still dropping off because he's not getting enough ice time, but I have no way of getting him more ice time right now. I just have no way of getting it. So I think we're going to run with this for next game. Novoseltsov coming back from injuries helped out a lot too, I guess. Yeah, he's actually been really good since coming back. He's been +2 in both games. So, like I said, maybe having a guy come back from injury is going to help us out a lot, and so far it has, at least in terms of tying the series up. And then from a goaltending perspective, Solovyov's now on a 923. Oh boy. Let's take a look at his game log here for a second. See how consistent he's been. He's been kind of inconsistent, but he's had a lot of good games this postseason too. Oh man, I feel like I need to make adjustments, but there's nothing I really think we need to address. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this. We're going to go with this. So, the question is this team going to come back from 3-1 and win in Game 7 just like they did against the Flyers and get to the Stanley Cup Finals? Or is it going to fall short? this time around. Winner will face the Seattle Kraken for the Stanley Cup. Let's get into this. Oh man, I'm so nervous to get into Game 7s. Like, Game 7s are always a little bit scary, but when they're in the conference finals as well, it's even more scary. Obviously, the Cup finals is the craziest part, but can we get it done? Let's see what happens. Hopefully those line adjustments are going to give us 3 straight wins again. Come on, boys. We're on home ice. Let's get those fans in the game early. Power play for us to start off Game 7, and they score a goal, of course. McArdle, who I said isn't he the offensive defenseman? I think he is. But that's not good that they opened the scoring here early in this one. Penalty kill late in this first period. We do kill it off, which is good, but we're down 1-0 after the first. I almost feel like jumping in already, but at the same time, I know that this episode doesn't need to be that long, so we need to find a way to tie this up in the second period. We might watch the entire third, depending on the situation we go into, but we are outplaying them in a bit, but we need Solovyov to play like Solovyov has in the past. If he has a good second period here, we could definitely find a way to tie this up. We've been scoring first most games in the last few games as well, so this is an outlier game so far, but if we stay within one, we could still win it. So let's see what happens. Second period. Come on, guys. Get me that next goal. Anton Frundell or somebody. Alder East makes it 2-0. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. Can we get a 1 goal to get us back in this game here? Penalty kill again. Stop taking penalties. My God. Final few minutes of the second period. And a big goal from Bigris. Of course, Bigris would score a big goal. It's a 1-goal game here late in the second. And that's the score it's going to be going into the third. I forgot to move my face down here. I apologize. Shots are 22-17 in favor of us. It's a 2-1 game. Bigris with a big goal and another huge Game 7 too, potentially. So, or, well, actually, he did it in Game 5, I guess, against the Flyers. But we're going to jump into this game and watch the entire third period. At this point, we're down by a goal. We might as well see if we can find a way to tie this up. So we're going to watch the entire third period. Maybe an overtime could come from it, but I just feel like it's probably the best time to jump in here. It could also risk us the game, but at the same time, I just like jumping into these AI games and seeing if we actually have a legit chance of getting this game tied up here. So we obviously got to find that next goal and tie it up here. That late goal might give us some momentum, so let's hop on in and see if we could tie this game up at 2. But it is Game 7, third period, so a little bit scary, but we got to find a way to get it done. Let's get her done, boys. Let's break through with another goal, not let Montreal play that good defensive style they've had all postseason. Makinen has a draw against Alder East. He wins it to start off this third period. Tatar up to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson finds Crane. Crane shoots to start the third, turned away. That's a good shot to start off the third. Here's Howden, throws it over. Tatar, a chance, and that's turned away by Somers. We almost have full pressure right away to start the third. 2 good chances. That one-timer was denied. Somers was wearing number 8 as a goalie. That's kind of interesting. Don't think I've ever seen a goalie wear number 8 before. I guess a lot of retired numbers or something like that pushed him to number 8. Like, he was probably originally supposed to be like number 1. But Makinen at the draw again against Alder East. Come on, Makinen. You got this, bud. Yes, he does. Tatar throws it back to Howden. Howden shoots. That's turned away. We got the first 3 shots of this period. Are we going to get full pressure here? The answer is yes. Makinen over to Crane. He scores. Let's go. Let's go. That's why we jump on in. An early goal to start off the third. We have the momentum on our side. A nice play to keep the puck alive. Makinen finds Crane. Crane gets wide open. And I guess a little bit of overcommitment on the side of Somers. And this game is tied in the third period of Game 7. Let's go. Absolutely clutch goal there from Crane. As Montreal takes their timeout, which honestly, in real life, they probably wouldn't have taken a timeout at this stage. Maybe they would have. But Montreal had a 2-0 lead. And just like that, this game's now tied. Absolutely huge. Now we got to find a way to get that next one. Like I said, this team doesn't go away. This team doesn't go away. Crane throws it over to Makinen. Here is Makinen. Makinen tries to throw it in. The Ragnarsson can't hit him. Alder East for the Habs finds Anthony. He finds McArdle. McArdle walks in, finds Anthony. A huge save by Solovyov as we got caught defensively. Ragnarsson can't get by. Here's McArdle again to Alder East. Over to Ryan Bacher. He's tripped by Ragnarsson. And we have a penalty kill to deal with. That's not good. That is not good. Oh, boy. Okay, we gotta be a little bit careful here because we maybe have a lot of momentum on our side, but at the same time, we maybe went a little bit too crazy, and Ragnarsson decides to take down, who was it, even Reinbacher. Little bit of a sell by Reinbacher, but definitely a trip, so that is not good for the kid to take a penalty at this point. We need a big penalty kill here, boys. We need a big penalty kill here. What do we got out there? Crane and Frundell. Okay. Crane and Frundell. Crane taking the face-off. I don't even know how good Crane's face-off stats are, so kind of weird. And it's tie-up. Novoseltsev throws it to Tatar. He gets it out to Anton Frundell, who will dump it in. Nicely done. Takes the first 10 seconds off the power play. Fraze finds Holmes. Holmes finds Lindsay. Holmes and Lindsay out there. Throws it across. Danielson has shot Solovyov with a big save. They almost have full pressure, so we got to be careful here. Don't want pressure against us when we're on the penalty kill. Come on, guys. Giordano and Cialfito out there now. Giordano at the draw against Danielson, and he lost it. Danielson finds Moeller over to Fraze. To Holmes, a shot deflected on net. Big save by Solovyov. He deflected it to the corner. Houghton will throw it back to the net, and it's kicked around. The Habs have pressure. Holmes with it. Throws it to Danielson. Danielson to Lindsay. Big hit there. Holmes a chance turned away again by Solovyov. It's loose in the slot. Houghton throws it out. Cialfito with it. There's a delayed penalty now coming to the Montreal Canadiens. Albrecht will carry it in. Over to Cialfito. What a pass. Cialfito's denied by Somers. As a cross-checking penalty to Nate Danielson. We have some 4-on-4 hockey coming. I thought that was going to be the penalty because here Houghton gets just destroyed by the cross-check. Yeah, it's a clear cross-check on the numbers. And Danielson heads to the box. Holy crap, man. We're lucky that they took a penalty after all those scrambling. And we were able to get it out. Alright, so 4-on-4. I don't think I've seen any 4-on-4 action in a while. So Leahy and Crane out there with Holmstrom, who's been bad defensively, but he is an offensive player, so maybe he could help us out here. Schaefer to Holmstrom. Holmstrom bombs it. That's blocked. Crane with it again. He lost it. Also, Lane Hudson's out there, which is kind of scary. Here's Ryan Robrick. Robrick walks in, shoots, turned away again by Solovyov. Holmstrom gets decked by Anthony. Here's Hudson, throws it to Engqvist, over to Ryan Robrick, over to Engqvist, a shot, and another save by Solovyov. And we're now on the power play. They almost have full pressure, which is kind of scary. But 46 seconds left on our power play now because 4-on-4 is done. The question is, can we find a way to capitalize on the limited power play time we got? Come on, guys. This is a crazy game, man. We're only like 5 minutes into this third period, too, just because of the amount of penalties. But this does make for an exciting end to this episode, potentially. Leahy wins the draw. Here's Nielakainen, the second unit out there. Over to Leahy. Leahy's been good as of late. He walks in with it. Makes a move. Bjorkstrand, a quick shot, and that's turned away. Interesting, okay. And we kept it in. Bjorkstrand with some great play. Finds Nielakainen. Turned away again by Somers. Both goalies have played pretty good in this third period. Algeries dumps it in. Bjorkstrand will get to it. Bjorkstrand finds Houghton. Houghton up to Nielakainen. Nielakainen lost it to Reinbacher. He throws it back up to Alger East. Alger East with it. Can't get by. And our power play is nearly over here. We're into the final 5 seconds. Ragnarsson throws it all the way up to Bjorkstrand, who is hit, but Ragnarsson follows it up nicely. Ragnarsson over to Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand walks in. That shot's blocked. Over to Ragnarsson. It's off a body. Ragnarsson's got it back again. He shoots. That's turned away. Nielakainen, we have full pressure again. Leahy can't get by Sean Farrell. And Farrell stood up. Leahy held it in. Ragnarsson, a chance, and that's turned away. I don't know how we kept that puck in, but grade A chance there, again, for this team. Sean Farrell with it. Wearing number 31, which should probably be retired by this point. Because of Carey Price, obviously, but Nielakainen. All the way up there. Here's Giordano with speed. He's got a lot of space. Giro in, and it's turned away again by Somers. Oh my god, this game is awesome to watch. Sometimes the AI is really fun to watch, but other times it's kind of annoying. But this has been a really good third period in terms of chances for both teams. Some exciting hockey, to say the least. Bjorkstrand at the draw. He's got quick draw, so maybe he can win this here. And the answer is yes, he can. Schaefer with it. He can't get the shot through. Danielson with it for Montreal. He turns it over. Konopka turns it over. Bjorkstrand in. Oh my goodness, what the hell was that? Somers with the crazy save. I gotta jump in and look at the replay on that. Holy crap, man. This is what I mean about a crazy third period. This turnover, nice knockdown by Bjorkstrand. And then Bjorkstrand makes a crazy move, and look at the save by Somers. I know he's like an elite goalie, but that is absolutely absurd. Crazy scramble, but man, Bjorkstrand had the game in that goal potentially. Fraze walks in now for the Habs. Fraze walks in, shoots, nice save by Solovyov. Anton Frundell will lose the puck. Novoselicev battles. Villette takes a chance, and Solovyov, another save. They have full pressure now. It seems like both teams are getting tons of pressure here. We got to win this defensive zone draw here. It is Mäkinen versus Oscar Moeller. Come on, Mäkinen. And he wins it cleanly. Nicely done. Novoselicev up to Ragnarsson. Jeez, I can barely talk now. Ragnarsson in. Ragnarsson shoots, turned away by Somers. We almost have full pressure back now. And Rout shoot him 35-25. This has been a crazy game to watch. Like, I wonder how this entire series has looked in terms of in-game stuff, but obviously we'll never know. Mäkinen again at the draw against Moeller. And he wins it cleanly. Tatar, a bomb. That's off of a body. I think it hit Crane in the skate. Mäkinen can't kick it out. Crane finds it to Mäkinen, and that's a hit from behind, but no penalty call. It wasn't really that bad of a hit, but damn. Moeller up to Villette. Villette finds it to Holmes, who has space. Holmes gets in a backhander, and that's off a body and turned away by Solovyov. We're into the final 8 minutes of this third period, so we're in a state where we need to be playing good defensively, if possible. Mäkinen versus Aldry, something to draw again, and Mäkinen wins it again. Mäkinen's been great on the draw. Tatar gets absolutely blown up by Rubrick. Rubrick finds Anthony. That's turned away, or actually it's wide of the net. Got to get it out here, boys. They almost have pressure again. Albrecht battling. And Howden got it out. No, he doesn't. Reinbacher to Anthony. That's turned away. Oh, my God. This game is literally going to make me, like, have a heart attack or something. Ragnarsson dumps it in. Oh, my goodness. Reinbacher again with it for the Habs. Reinbacher. Get it away, guys. Play good defensively. Nice play there by 36. I don't know who that is, but big save there again by Solovyov. God damn. Is this our third line out there? I think 36 is Leahy, right? I think it might be. That was a weird hit. Very weird hit. Oh, it's Korolyuk out there with Bigris and Jarvis. Our fourth line is playing against their top line right now. I don't like that. McCardle to Reinbacher. That's turned away. No, it's in. Anthony tips it in. The Habs take the lead late in Game 7. That's why I didn't like that matchup. I don't know why the coach decided to go with our fourth line against their top line. But a little simple shot to the net is deflected by Anthony. And the Habs have taken back the lead late. That's a bad goal to give up, especially with how this third period's been. We've had some really good chances. Somers has made some huge saves for them. We could have had the lead at this point, but we don't. That's not good. Should have boxed out a little bit more. Our coach takes a timeout. He made a bad decision about putting the fourth line out there, in my opinion. You just don't put a fourth line against the first line. You put like at least a top 9 line. But a fourth line, I don't like it. We still have our fourth line out there, though, here in the final 5 minutes, which is also not a great call. I don't know why he's doing that, but maybe it's because of energy. Holmstrom will dump the puck in. Come on, guys, let's get on the forecheck. This is what this fourth line should be doing, is forechecking. McCardle with it for the Habs. That was like kind of an interference play. I don't know what happened. Somebody got knocked down from our team. Holmstrom finds Bigris, who's been solid in his postseason. Finds Jarvis. Jarvis holds on to it. Jarvis over to Bigris, and Somers the save. Good chance there for the fourth line. Like I said, Bigris has been solid in this playoffs. Jarvis has been solid, but I still don't like really having a fourth line out there against the top line. Oh man, that was a crazy hit on Jarvis. Okay, now we have our first line back out there again against their first line. Their first line's a little bit more tired than our top line, so maybe we could get some offensive chances here. Come on, Mäkinen. He does not win the face-off there. That's unfortunate. Reinbacher with it for the Habs. Come on, guys, get this away. Anthony finds Alder East. Alder East back to Anthony. Nice blocked by, I don't know who that was again that blocked it, but Solovyov finds it into the final 3 minutes. Yeah, right now, the difference in this game has been Somers again, and that's how the Habs have won a lot of games in this series. Mäkinen at the draw, he wins it. Albrecht throws it up to Crane. Crane finds Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson walks in, can't get a great shot away, but it does get to the net. I really hope we don't get to the point where we have to pull our goalie, just because I don't like how the AI defends on an empty net, so hopefully we can find a way to tie it up before we pull the goaltender. Mäkinen at the draw again. Come on, Mäkinen. You got this, buddy. Yes, nice clean win. Albrecht to Holmstrom. Holmstrom bombs it, deflected on net. I think that was by Bjorkstrand. Or not Bjorkstrand. Was that Bjorkstrand? No, it was Ragnarsson. Good chance there. We don't get the full pressure. Here's Ryan Rubrick for the Habs. Nice poke check by Albrecht. Holmstrom throws it all the way up. Here's Crane. Crane carries it in. Crane finds Ragnarsson. Turned away. Mäkinen a chance. Somers a save. We have full pressure with 57 seconds left. We might be pulling the goalie here shortly, and also we have an offensive zone face-off, so... And it's Bjorkstrand taking the draw. That's exactly who I would take out there, too, for the face-offs. And he doesn't win it, though, with the quick draw. Oh, my goodness. At least we don't have the empty net yet. We got to get back into their zone. That's unfortunate, though, because we had full pressure. Houghton throws it all the way up because he was decked. Get away, guys. We don't have the time to be running around in our own zone. Frey's a shot. Solovyov the save. Fraze finds Lindsay. That's turned away again by Solovyov as they almost have full pressure, which is not something you want to give them when you're trailing by 1 goal in Game 7. We got to win this face-off. I thought Bjorkstrand would have been able to win that offensive zone draw, but no. Bjorkstrand wins that draw, though. We got to get into their zone, boys. Tatar, he's creamed and they have full pressure. Oh, my goodness. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness. Friggin' Christ, man. Anthony scores again. A garbage goal, and that will pretty much do this series. This will pretty much do this series against the Habs. That is some very bad defensive play there. And unfortunately, despite us playing so good in this third period and giving us a chance to come back as we tied it up early, 2 goals from Eli Anthony is the difference here. 2 goals from Eli Anthony is the difference. God damn it, man. That's not how I wanted to see to end off this third period. We just did not get any pressure off that face-off win, and then that comes back to bite us. We still probably will end up pulling the goalie too again because we have 28 seconds left, but that was a terrible play to not get it out of our zone, and then the pressure system usually results in a goal against, it seems like. But yeah, we look like we're going to be knocked out in Game 7 after we were trailing 3-1. So we almost came back again, just like we did against Philadelphia, but we just could not get the offense in the third period, and then they were able to get their offense going. Here's a chance for us. Gio to Frendell, that's blocked. The boys are trying here, but it's too little, too late. The Montreal Canadiens are going to be facing off against the Seattle Kraken in the Stanley Cup Finals, and unfortunately, it's another year where this Islanders team cannot find a way to get it done in the postseason. God damn, man. I thought we were the best team left still in the playoffs. I thought we had a chance this year, but Somers was the difference pretty much in this one. He made some crazy saves against us in this third period. We could have had the lead at some points, but he kept them in it, and then they were able to capitalize with some late goals. That's unfortunate, man. And Anton Frendell might be on the chopping block. Remember, this might be his last game here as an Islander, so there's a chance that he leaves this offseason, and we have a new captain for next season. And a new thumbnail person, I guess, too. I don't know who should be on the thumbnail. Let me know who you guys think if we do let go of Frendell. Damn, man. I would not put that series whatsoever on Solovyov either, because he had a lot of games where we only lost by 1 goal. But that last goal, absolutely dreadful defensive play. And in that 1 goal right there is the game winner on a deflection. Oh, boy. I want to go back to their goal, though, that made it 4-2, if I can. Because it was absolutely dreadful defensive play, and leading up to that play, too, was just not good. Like, we could have definitely found a way to win that faceoff in their zone, and then we could have had a good chance, but instead we get caught in our own zone, and they get the pressure system to score that goal. Because if we go all the way back here, basically, here we have we don't have net pulled yet, but if we win this draw, we probably pull our goalie, realistically. We end up losing the face-off cleanly. Usually, Bjorkstrand's very good on the face-offs. Unfortunately, he loses it there. They bank this play up. And then they get into our zone, get a simple shot away. We can't get this puck fully out of the zone. Or out of our own zone. We can't get that change in. Lane Hudson then carries it in. Then this shot is turned away here. They still have a chance to keep it in. This pressure then comes because Bjorkstrand ends up getting hit by Fraze. And they get another good chance. And this pressure system happens after this face-off because we can't win it. So then Bjorkstrand loses another face-off. No, he wins this face-off, but The play by Tatar here is not great. Tatar has made some bad plays in the past too that have come back to bite us, but this one, he tries to go up the wall here. He has all the time in the world to make this pass up. I don't know why he's already not trying to throw this pass up, but because of the pressure system, his decision-making is probably not as good. And then he tries to just carry it up a little bit more. Ends up getting board played by Rubrick. And then Alder East is able to take this puck away. And now it's all of a sudden a 3-on-2 because everybody's way out of position here. They get a backhand chance there from Rubrick, turned away. But Solovyov can't get to the rebound. And there's an easy tap in there for Anthony. So, that's unfortunate. And then we just could not find our play again after that. Damn, man. We outshot them in that third period, 19-17. That was a lot of chances for both teams in the third. But we just could not find a way to get a conversion in that third. Somers is really tough, man. Somers might end up winning a Conn Smythe for the Habs in this, potentially. Anyways, let's exit out of this game here. And we'll take a look at our player stats and the awards and all that. Wrap up the season. It's been a long episode already at this point, but it is what it is. Man, that sucks. That sucks. Let's see our player stats. Maybe I should have put Cialfito higher back in the lineup again. I know I should have probably made some adjustments, maybe, but thought we could have came back from 3-1 again. But our final playoff stats, it was led mainly on the offensive side of things from Crane, Makinen, Giordano. Frendell was pretty good this postseason. Is it time for him to leave this team? You guys said I should probably cash in on his value. He does have 2 years left. We could hold on to him maybe for 1 more year, but at the same time, with the emergence of Ragnarsson, maybe we don't. Ragnarsson wasn't super crazy good this postseason, but he could be better next year for sure. Defensively, I mean, Houghton was insane. Houghton could be a future Conn Smythe winning defenseman. But, yeah, damn, that's unfortunate. Holmstrom -10, though. Novoselicev -14. Definitely don't know about Holmstrom. He is actually still listed as a top 4 as well. So I don't really know how I'm going to get guys like Holmstrom and Albrecht ice time next season. Because both of them are listed as top 4. Schaefer's a top 4. Novoselicev's top 4. Would you guys trade away any of these players? I'm not trading my Oli for sure, or Tatar, I don't think. But we might be able to trade away somebody else. Goaltending-wise, Solovyov was solid, .921 save percentage, but we just could not get the offense in that series against the Habs going. So there is our run. All right, well, the question is now, is Montreal going to win the Stanley Cup over the Kraken? Or is the Kraken going to win? The Kraken end up winning, so we did not lose to the best team in the NHL, unfortunately. So the Seattle Kraken are the Stanley Cup champions in 2039. Damn. Seattle winning a cup before us kind of sucks, too. So Montreal got taken out in 5 games. Damn. That's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. All right. Let's take a look at that Kraken team that just won the Stanley Cup just for fun, just to see if any guys were there that used to play with us. So from an offensive standpoint, oh yes, Tyrone Cook. Tyrone Cook. Of course, he goes on to put 22 points up in the postseason. And he had 43 goals this season, 42 last season. We traded him away because he wasn't scoring enough with us. 10 goals in 61 games. But since joining the Kraken in that Michelli deal, he's been really good. And now he's a Stanley Cup champion too. Damn, man. That is not great. That's not great. Zikov, I think he was one of the guys with us as well, right? Yeah, he played with us in the bottom 6, I think, at one point. Yeah. 70 points, damn, a few years ago. Damn, he's been really good with Seattle, too. So Seattle might have been more of a threat than we anticipated. Anybody else that used to play with us here? Or did I recognize nobody else there? Defensively, no way. Pratt had 10 points in the playoff run. Oh my goodness, that is actually kind of insane. Pratt literally barely plays in the regular season, and he goes on to win a Stanley Cup in Seattle. We dealt him to Winnipeg, and then Winnipeg must have let him go to free agency. He had 31 points this season. 31. And then in the playoffs, 10 points. And now he's a Stanley Cup champion. Well, he was an AHL ringer, but now he's a legit defenseman. God damn, man. That's actually unfortunate, too. I would have loved to have won a Stanley Cup with him in our lineup. And then had some really good goaltending too. God damn, man. So shout out to Cook, shout out to Zikov, and shout out, of course, to Pratt. But those three guys win a Stanley Cup before us. Damn. That's a bit of more salt to the wound. Would have been nice to face them in the Cup Finals based on that, but... goddamn. Individual awards, Connor Bedard, Art Ross, and the Hart. Norris Trophy again for the third consecutive year going to Olli Houghton. So Houghton's at least got 3 Norris Trophies, which is exciting. Frank Nazar wins the Lady Byng. Vegas's rookie Punos wins the Calder. Enroth wins the Conn Smythe for Seattle. Dubnyk the Vezina Trophy for the second consecutive year. He also wins the Jennings for the second consecutive year and third time in the last 5. York wins the Masterton for Nashville. Kabina, which is Dallas's coach, to Jack Adams. Kuhlman wins the Selke for Nashville. Connor Bedard the Lindsay, and also the Richard. All right, any AHL awards? Any AHL awards? The answer is no. All right. So Houghton, our only award winner, winning his 3rd Norris Trophy, which is awesome. But at the same time, I am kind of disappointed about that exit a little bit. And also the fact that Pratt and stuff were able to go win on a Stanley Cup, I'm really shocked on, man. I didn't expect Pratt to be an NHL defenseman when we traded him. And then he had a good year this year. Maybe we should have held on to him. All right, let's wrap up the rest of the season, find out where we're drafting and all that stuff. St. Louis has first overall, followed by the Rangers, Carolina, Washington, Vancouver. All right. So in terms of retirements, we're not going to lose anybody, but yeah, I don't really know what we're going to do in terms of a couple people. Like I said, we have too many top 4 defensemen, and also Anton Frundell might be on the block soon. So we got to make up some decisions here. So some pretty solid retirements. All right. What about defensively? Adam Fox, Luke Hughes. Yeah, pretty good retirement class this year. What about goalies? Dennis Hildeby is the best. Interesting. Okay. So there is the retirements. Anybody become a coach now? We didn't lose any coaches, or did we? No, we did not lose any coaches. That's good. That is good. We're going to continue similar on that. And final few things we got to do to wrap up this episode, because we're running at like an hour and 10 minutes, and I know this episode is already long. First and foremost, the contract situation, because this is the most important thing. Here is who is up for renewal this offseason. Not a lot of big people. Leahy and Nielakainen are the only 2 UFAs. I don't know if we could afford to bring back Leahy. We might not be able to. He wants $6.8 million. Didn't have a great playoffs. His contract interest is very low. His organizational interest is pretty good, though. So he says he wants 5 years, but if we go down to like a 1-year deal, he almost has full interest. So maybe we could get him on a 1-year deal, but I'm not too sure. Kind of like I said, is a UFA. I don't know about bringing him back. We could definitely replace him. Bigris is an RFA. We could definitely hold on to him, get him into the same spot where Nielakainen was, or above that even. Ellington, a UFA. I'm not too sure on Ellington. I'm not too sure. He might be too expensive. Jarvis, we could probably bring back as a depth option, or we could let him go if we want. He's pretty cheap. Korolyuk still an RFA. Rutter's still an RFA. So, not a lot of big contracts to deal with, but we do have Letowski as a backup to bring back. Maybe I'd bring him back because he was good this season. He's also relatively cheap. But in terms of the main roster, that's under contract. Anton Frundell maybe is on the chopping block like you guys were saying. Maybe we should do that. Defensively, all these guys are under contract for next season. However, all of them are listed as top 4s. We need to part ways with at least 2 defensemen, probably, if we want to get the right ice time. Hagen probably could be on our defensive core next season, too. Because Hagen is listed as a top 6. Rutter could potentially play on that top 6 pairing as well. Which means we could part ways potentially with Albrecht because he's 23. He is older than Schaefer. But I don't know who else I would part ways with. Because I did like Novoselsov's play during the playoffs. Great defensively. Holmstrom was a liability defensively, but he is young. And then Schaefer was pretty solid at times. Other times he wasn't great. Tatar and Houghton are pretty much the untouchable defenders, I feel like. So I'm not too sure what we want to do with that. So we do have guys under contract that we might want to part ways with, potentially. Because Ragnarsson could probably get into the top 6 next season. Now, he is only an 83, but he is a second-line forward. So, moving out from Frundell might make sense still for our team to do that. So, there is all of that. All right, progress reports and draft class. This episode's going to be so friggin' long, man. Oh, boy, it is what it is, though. At least it was an entertaining third period. So Ragnarsson jumped up a ton, as we saw. That's why we called him up throughout the season. Nicely done. Koryuk's getting a lot of growth, apparently, too. Houghton as well. A lot of the guys are probably statistical, but still. Good to see the team developing still during the season. Nobody dropping off because we're not that old yet. No more growth from Solovyov, but that's all right. And in the system, any good growth from our prospects, that's where it's going to be interesting. Nicholas is up to a 61 and 18. That's not too bad for a high elite. That's not too bad. Defensively, anybody get any crazy growth? Let's just sort by overall. Rutter's a little bit better. Tuomainen's a 72 at 24. Granado. Some other growth from Erzberg a little bit. 67 at 21 is pretty low, to be honest. Maybe we should just get him into the AHL next year. Lindsay's up to a 60. At least they're growing a bit, though. Let's see what else we got here. Sundin as a depth forward. He could be a depth forward again for us in the NHL, maybe. Ulnov is close, but he's 24 already. Yilson's up to a 69 at 19. He was the gym top 6, I think. Savage up to a 69 at 22. Popov a 68 at 19. Hilbert a 61 at 20. DeRoche a 57 at 19. Okay. And then Sorokin's a 62 at 22. He's not going to pan out for sure at this rate. All right. So there's that. Final thing, the draft class. Which picks do we have this year? I feel like we have multiple firsts, right? No, we don't. We're drafting 30th overall this year. I don't even know if we're going to be able to find anything crazy in this draft class or not. Now, we could use some of our players to move up if we want to, but let's see. 30th overall. What could we get this year potentially? Rankin, who we do not know anything about. He doesn't look very good, to be honest, though. Yip. Honestly, doesn't look very good either. Any steals, though, that's what we're looking for. Goalie in Grellinger. I don't really need more goalie prospects, but this guy's guaranteed probably to be a medium elite. There's a medium top 6 in Letowski, who could be okay, probably like a 65. Lowly two-way defenseman. I don't need all these defenders, though. That's the one thing, because we have like a farm, basically, of just defenders. Strombolopoulos. Goddamn. Lowly gem defenseman, Steve Strombolopoulos. That's pretty damn good, but I don't know if I want more low leads. Jensen actually looks pretty okay as well for a defender with good shooting. Anybody else? Medium elite grinder in Parker Hunt. I'm not too sure about a medium 6 grinder. Medium elite goalie. Alexei Komatov, who is apparently only a year out. Okay, that's really intriguing. If he has this good of attributes, this goalie's probably like a 75 overall medium elite at 18. That's actually kind of insane. We might have to draft that guy because of that. There's also Nelson Dempsey, who is also looking really good in 1 year out. Okay. So maybe there's actually some good steals here that we could draft this year as well. Dempsey, I think, is definitely somebody I would draft just because we could use more forwards. But that goaltender is really intriguing. Like, if he's 1 year out at 18 years old, he could end up being an NHL goalie by the time he's only 19. Which would make him have a very long career ahead of him. Now, we wouldn't get to see his entire career, but still. Any other elites that I could pin here for future rounds? Molly's a medium elite goalie. I don't really need the medium elite goalies, but I'll still pin them anyways. Might be a good goalie draft. And in terms of low elites, what do we got? There's also Esh, who's supposed to go late. We'll pin him. There's also Menino. We also pinned Dempsey already. There's Gite, who looks maybe okay. Ramja Singh's probably a low elite as well, just because he's a gem. Alright, this might actually be a pretty solid draft. But obviously, we don't really need the crazy amount of prospects that there is in this draft class, but it looks like a pretty good one. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of New York Islanders franchise mode. So sorry about it being a long-ass episode. I didn't expect us to be able to come back from 3-1 again to get it to a Game 7. Sucks that we ended up losing, but it was a good run again for this team this season. But we definitely need to make some tough decisions this offseason, like I said, with Frundell especially. I think parting ways with him makes sense, but I don't know who should be the next captain of this team and who should be the thumbnail athlete. Like, I think it could probably be Karain if we do move out from Frondell, but I'm not too sure because I do like Houtenen's chances as well. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.